Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cutting through all that noise from those scary financial headlines. You know the feeling, right? You see this massive number, your stomach just drops. But what does it actually mean? Well, that's what we're going to figure out.
So let's just jump right in with a number that sounds, well, terrifying. $162 billion. Gone. Wiped out from the market. When you see a figure like that, it's so easy to think the sky is falling. But is it? Is this the big crash everyone's always worried about, or is it something else entirely?
Okay, to really get a handle on that number, we've got to speak the same language. We need to define our terms, because in the world of finance, believe me, words have very specific meanings, and knowing them is your first line of defense against hitting the panic button.
First up, let's talk about a correction. Honestly, you can think of this as the market just taking a much-needed breather. It's a dip of about 10 to 20% from a recent high. The key word on this slide, though, healthy. That's right, corrections are totally normal. In fact, they happen, on average, every couple of years. For investors who can keep a cool head, they can even be an opportunity.
Now, a crash, that's a different beast altogether. This is much more serious, much rarer. Think 1929, think 2008. We're talking a massive drop of 20% or more. And the key thing here isn't just how far the market falls, but man, how fast. A crash is fueled by pure, widespread panic, and it can seriously shake people's confidence in the entire system.
So, when you boil it all down, it's about three things: the scale, the speed, and the psychology. A correction? That's a normal dip, kind of slow-moving, might last a few weeks or months. A crash? That's a sudden, super fast plunge that's all about panic. You could say one is like a passing thunderstorm, while the other is a Category 5 hurricane.
All right, so we've got our definitions down. Correction, crash, check. Now, let's go back to that scary number from the beginning, because you're about to see why context is everything.
Okay, so here it is again, $162 billion. Let's be real, this number on its own, it's pure clickbait. It's designed to grab your attention, to make you worry, but here's the secret. By itself, it tells you basically nothing useful about what's actually going on.
So the real question, the one you should always be asking, isn't how many dollars were lost. It's what percentage of the total market is that? Is this a 10% dip, or is it a massive 30% dive? Because the answer to that question changes absolutely everything.
And check this out. This table makes it super clear. If the total market is worth, say, $1.62 trillion, then $162 billion loss is a 10% drop. That's a textbook correction. Not fun, but not world-ending. But take that exact same dollar amount and apply it to a smaller, $540 billion market, and suddenly it's a devastating 30% drop. That's a full-blown crash. Same dollars, totally different stories.
And look, knowing this isn't just trivia to make you sound smart at parties, it fundamentally flips the script. It takes you from being someone who reacts emotionally to someone who can think strategically.
This is really where knowing your stuff pays off. If you know you're in a correction, your game plan might be to just hold tight, or maybe even rebalance things. But if you correctly identify the signs of a real crash, your playbook is totally different. You're thinking about protecting what you have. This vocabulary isn't academic, it's a tool for making smart moves while everyone else is freaking out.
So here's your new mental checklist. Next time a scary headline flashes across your screen, don't just react. Do this. 1. See the big scary dollar amount. Fine. 2. Take 30 seconds and find the percentage drop. What's the real number? And 3. Assess the context. That's it. That little pause can be the difference between a smart decision and a costly mistake.
All right, so let's bring it all home. What does this all mean for you the next time the market gets choppy and the headlines start shouting?
You know, if you take just one thing away from all this, let it be this. The media is always going to sensationalize the big dollar losses because it gets clicks, it gets attention. But you're smarter than that now. You know that the percentage decline is the true measure of what's happening. You have to look past the sticker shock to find the real story.
So I'll leave you with this thought. Armed with this knowledge, the next market drop doesn't have to be a source of fear. Instead, it can be a signal. Not a signal to panic, but a signal to simply pay attention, assess the situation with a clear head, and act accordingly. Because knowing the difference, well, that's everything.